What happens when a man who thought he had love realizes he was nothing more than a plaything? That's exactly the bomb Tony Rich just dropped on the internet, going scorched earth on Papoose while ripping Claressa Shields apart in the process, in a shocking rant that's already being called career suicide honesty. Tony claims Claressa never loved him, never respected him, and only ever used him for her own pleasure. But the humiliation didn't stop there. Tony says Claressa made it clear behind closed doors Papoose was the man she truly respected, while Tony was just a toy to kill time. Fans were left speechless. She really told him that. Tony just embarrassed himself and Papoose at the same time. This is the kind of mess that could start a war. Now the receipts are flying, insiders are whispering, and the internet is tearing Claressa's private life to shreds. Because if what Tony says is true, this isn't just about humiliation. This is about betrayal so raw it could explode the entire love triangle. When you talk about hip-hop loyalty, one name always comes up: Papoose. For years, he was celebrated as the ultimate husband, standing by Remy Ma through her prison sentence, repping his family publicly, and building his brand on being the man who put love above industry temptation. But the past year has shattered that picture-perfect narrative, because somewhere between industry whispers, viral live streams, and secret hotel meets, Papoose's name got tangled up with another force of nature: Claressa Shields, known as the GWOAT, the greatest woman of all time in boxing. Claressa isn't just an athlete, she's a powerhouse personality. Tough, outspoken, and unafraid to call out anyone who crosses her. But what nobody expected was her name being tied to Papoose in late-night gossip circles. It started with a few blurry photos, a studio session here, a dinner there. People brushed it off as collaboration. But then came the leaks. Texts, calls, whispers that Claressa and Papoose were closer than they let on. And that's where Tony Rich enters the story. Tony, a longtime associate and occasional music collaborator in Claressa's circle, always seemed to hover just out of frame. He was spotted at her fights, backstage at appearances, and occasionally in her live streams. Rumors swirled that he and Claressa had a fling, but it was always denied, brushed aside as speculation. Until now, because Tony has flipped the script in a recent explosive rant, half Instagram live, half drunken confession. Tony admitted everything. He claimed he and Claressa were intimate. Yes. But more than that, he revealed a humiliating truth. Claressa allegedly told him straight up that she never took him seriously. He was fun, he was pleasure, but when it came to respect, that belonged to Papoose. His exact words sent fans spiraling. She told me, "Tony, you good for the moment, but you ain't Papoose. He's a king. You just a break from reality." Do you know what it's like hearing that? Knowing you just the toy, while the man she really sees as a partner is another dude. The internet erupted because this wasn't just Tony exposing Claressa. This was Tony humiliating himself by admitting he was used, while at the same time humiliating Papoose by confirming Claressa's loyalty lay with him all along. Even in the middle of cheating rumors, fans immediately took sides. Some mocked Tony for being bitter. "You exposed yourself, bro. She told you to your face you were nothing and you still stayed. It's embarrassing. She played you like a rental." Others defended him, saying he was brave for admitting how Claressa treated him. At least he's telling his truth. She used him, she's the one in the wrong. But everyone agreed on one thing. Tony's confession reignited the Papoose-Claressa saga in the most toxic way possible. Because for months, the hip-hop world has been buzzing with rumors that Remy Ma and Papoose's marriage is hanging by a thread. Some blame Claressa for being the wedge. Others say Remy's past mistakes created cracks that Claressa slipped into. Either way, the narrative is ugly, messy, and emotional. Now Tony has thrown gasoline on the fire by admitting Claressa used him for pleasure and openly compared him to Papoose. He's painted her as ruthless, calculating, and cold. Someone who knows exactly who she values and who she doesn't. The humiliation runs both ways. For Tony, it's the shame of being the disposable side piece. For Papoose, it's the sting of having his name dragged into Claressa's private conversations. And for Claressa, it's the destruction of her image as a strong, disciplined woman who commands respect. Because now she looks like someone who toys with men, discards them when she's bored, and measures them all against Papoose, even when he isn't in the room. The internet is calling this the love triangle nobody asked for but one, that everyone can't stop watching. And just when people thought Tony's rant was messy enough, insiders leaked that there's more. Allegedly, Tony has screenshots, voice notes, and even private recordings that back up his claims, evidence that Claressa not only admitted using him, that she laughed about it. The humiliation may not even be at its peak yet, because if Tony releases what he claims to have, this won't just be gossip. This will be a scandal that breaks every side of the triangle. The internet thought Tony Rich's rant was just drunk talk. Another bitter man crying over being tossed aside by a woman who never promised him the world. But Tony wasn't done talking. In fact, his first rant was just the warm-up. The screenshots dropped less than 24 hours after his initial humiliation-laced confession. Tony doubled back with what he claimed were screenshots of his private messages with Claressa in one alleged text thread. Claressa wrote, "Stop catching feelings. UKNOW. What this is, don't confuse pleasure with love." Another showed Tony asking if they could go public, only for Claressa to respond with a blunt, "Lol, don't get ahead of yourself. You're not Pap." Fans gasped. The receipts were messy, brutal, and painfully on brand with Tony's story. The screenshots spread like wildfire across gossip blogs. Not Pap. Imagine being told straight up you're not the man she respects. She said it to his face, and he still stayed. Tony captioned his post, "Told y'all, she used me. I got nothing to gain by lying." Says her words. Claressa's response within hours. Claressa's shields clapped back, but not with denial. She went live on Instagram, her voice sharp with anger. Tony is bitter. Tony is desperate. "Yeah, we messed around, but don't twist it. I never promised him nothing. He wanted love. I wanted fun. That's it." But fans noticed something strange. Claressa never denied sending those texts. She dismissed Tony as irrelevant, but didn't call the receipts fake. And when commenters kept spamming, "You said you're not Pap," her face hardened. She snapped, "Everybody want to act like Papoose is perfect. Y'all don't even know the half. If Tony want to talk, I can really talk." The chat exploded. Wait, what does SHE mean by that? Is Claressa hinting Pap wasn't faithful either? This triangle just got uglier. Papoose gets dragged up until now. Papoose had stayed silent, refusing to feed the circus. But with both Tony and Claressa invoking his name, silence became impossible. Fans stormed his social media pages, commenting under every photo. "Did she really compare Tony to you? Why's your name in everybody's mouth? Pap, blink twice if you embarrassed." Blogs began framing headlines. Papoose humiliated in Claressa Tony mess. Is Pap the gold standard or the silent victim? And then a leaked voice note changed everything. The leaked audio tone, desperate to prove he wasn't exaggerating, released a voice note allegedly recorded during one of his private conversations with Claressa. In the clip, a woman who sounds exactly like Claressa can be heard laughing. "Tony, I told you already. You cool, but you're not Pap. Pap is Pap. Don't take it personal." The audio was only 15 seconds long, but it broke the internet. Fans were merciless. "This is the coldest line I've ever heard." She straight up admitted he was the side piece. Tony embarrassed himself, but Claressa embarrassed Pap. 4. The first time, sympathy shifted slightly toward Tony. Some began to see him less as bitter and more as a man who had been emotionally destroyed. Remy Ma pulled into the fire. The scandal couldn't stay contained, because if Claressa was openly comparing Tony to Papoose, where did that leave Remy Ma? Rumors immediately resurfaced about the alleged cracks in her marriage to Pap. Fans speculated that if Claressa saw Pap as the standard, maybe there really had been something between them after all. Bloggers ran with the angle, did Claressa and Papoose cross the line? Tony Rich just exposed more than himself. Remy Ma caught in the crossfire. Remy, who has been trying to dodge headlines since whispers of her own infidelity months ago, suddenly found herself dragged back into the spotlight. The first twist, Claressa's own messages leak, just as fans were processing the humiliation triangle. Another leak dropped, this time from Claressa herself. Screenshots began circulating that allegedly came from her close friends group chat. In one, Claressa wrote, "Tony weak. I told him what it was. If he can't handle it, that's on him. I don't babysit feelings." But the real shocker was the next line. "Pap, know the truth. That's why I respect him. He a man. Tony, just a boy." The internet froze. Was Claressa admitting there really was something deeper between her and Papoose? Fans spiraled. What truth does Pap know? She just confirmed she respects Pap like he's hers. This ain't even a triangle anymore. This is war. The aftermath at this point, all three players, Tony, Claressa, and Papoose, were entangled in a humiliating web of betrayal, disrespect, and unanswered questions. Tony had receipts proving he was used. Claressa admitted to using him but hinted there's more to the Pap story. Papoose, still silent, but his silence now looked like guilt, and fans, they were locked in, demanding answers. Because the first twist wasn't just that Claressa used Tony for pleasure. It was that her real loyalty might not be to Tony or Pap's wife, but to Pap himself. At first, it looked like Tony Rich had embarrassed himself more than anyone else. Fans laughed at him, called him a side piece crying for clout, and roasted him for admitting Claressa never respected him. But then the leaks kept coming, and suddenly, Tony wasn't the only one looking weak. The insider whispers within days. Insiders began whispering about Claressa and Papoose, not rumors, but details. One industry blogger posted, "Y'all think Claressa calling Pap the standard was random? Nah, she's been around Pap off camera way more than y'all realize." Another gossip page doubled down, claiming there were multiple private dinners. Not just one. Not just industry talk. Real late-night meetings. No Remy, just Pap and Claressa. Fans started digging through old footage. A clip resurfaced of Claressa sitting courtside at a boxing match with Papoose in the same row, not side by side, but close enough to raise eyebrows. Another showed the two exchanging what looked like a knowing smile backstage at a rap event. The receipts weren't concrete, but paired with Claressa's own leaked messages about respecting Pap, the smoke was too heavy to ignore. Tony spirals meanwhile. Tony Rich began spiraling publicly after Claressa dismissed him as irrelevant. Tony went live again, this time visibly drunk, slurring his words as he held up his phone screen. "Y'all think I'm lying? Y'all think she didn't? Play me, man. I gave her everything. And she still looked at me like I was nothing. All she ever did was talk about Papoose. I wasn't even in the room half the time." He waved his phone around, showing blurry screenshots of what he claimed were more DMs from Claressa. One alleged message read, "Tony, stop blowing up my phone. Told you, I don't need love from you. I already got respect where it matters." The comments went savage. "Bro, put the bottle down. You embarrassing yourself again? She told you flat out, and you still stayed." But others couldn't help but notice the pattern. Every leak tied back to Papoose. Claressa didn't just use Tony. She compared him to Pap every single time. The DM that shook Remy then came the most shocking leak of all. Screenshots began circulating. A DM exchange allegedly between Claressa and a close friend. In one, Claressa wrote, "Remy know what it is. She ain't dumb. She knows Pap don't look at her the same no more." The internet froze. Did Claressa just imply that Remy Ma knew about her connection to Papoose all along? Fans erupted. This is messy. Claressa basically saying Remy's aware. No wonder Remy been moving different lately. Tony opened the door, but Claressa just blew it wide open. Blogs immediately tied it back to the months-old rumors about Remy in battle. Rapper Easy, the block captain. Was this payback? Did Papoose really find respect with Claressa after feeling betrayed by Remy? The love triangle was morphing into a love war. Remy's silence as fans begged Remy for a response. Silence spoke louder than words. She continued posting unrelated content on social media, music clips, glam shots, motivational quotes, but refused to address the growing circus, the comments under her posts. However, told the story. So Claressa wasn't lying. You lost Pap to the GWOAT. Say something, Remy. Don't let this slide. Her refusal to address it only fueled speculation that maybe, just maybe, Claressa wasn't bluffing when she said Remy knew what it was. Papoose cornered with Tony ranting, Claressa leaking, and Remy silent. The spotlight turned fully onto Papoose. Fans demanded answers. Did you or did you not have something with Claressa? Why's your name all over her texts? Are you just letting them drag? You? For the first time in his career, Papoose, the man known for being the loyal husband, was now being painted as the centerpiece of betrayal. Blogs even began circulating an old Build interview where he said, "Respect is the foundation of love. Once that's gone, there's nothing." The irony wasn't lost on fans. Was Claressa the respect he was talking about? The shocking reveal. Then came the reveal that turned this entire mess from scandal into nuclear fallout. A recording surfaced allegedly captured during one of Tony's meltdowns. In it, Tony is heard shouting to someone off camera, "Y'all keep saying I'm lying, but she told me Pap was different. She told me Pap made her feel like a queen in ways I never. Could y'all think I just made that up?" But the most chilling part came at the end, when he muttered through tears, "Pap knew. He'd been new. That's why he never checked me. That's why he let me look stupid. He already won." The clip was raw, emotional, and devastating. The internet's verdict: by the end of the week, the narrative had flipped entirely. Tony wasn't just bitter. He was proof of Claressa's ruthlessness. Claressa wasn't just ruthless. She was openly hinting at something real with Pap, Dot, and Papoose. He wasn't just humiliated. She was now the quiet center of an ugly, public love triangle that was pulling Remy down with him. The scandal had started as Tony's humiliation, but now it was Papoose and Remy's marriage standing on the edge of collapse. When Tony Rich's rants first hit the internet, most people laughed him off as bitter and broken. But once the screenshots, voice notes, and group chat leaks piled up, the laughter died. Suddenly, this wasn't just a clown show, it was a scandal. And the public reaction: explosive. Fans' flood social media Twitter timelines were hijacked by one question. Did Claressa really play Tony just to praise Papoose? Hashtags trended for days. Hashtag not Pap. Hash Tony the toy. Hash CL. ARESS AMES hash Pap. And Remy one viral tweet read, "Tony humiliated himself. But Claressa humiliated two households at once." Another slammed Papoose. Crazy how Pap built his whole career on loyalty. And now his name, the one in everybody's mouth. Meanwhile, TikTok creators turned the scandal into a meme cycle. Clips of Claressa allegedly saying, "You're not." Pap were remixed over beats with captions like, "POV. You thought you were the main, but you're just the interlude." It was brutal. Celebs choose sides, then the industry weighed in, and the lines were drawn fast. Team. Tony's sympathy for the side piece. Joe Boudin said on his podcast, "Man admitted he was played. Y'all laughing, but that honesty?" That's Rare Waka Flocka tweeted. A lot of dudes get used like Tony. They just don't admit it. Team Claressa, no apologies needed. 50 Cent posted a meme of Claressa with the caption, "Queens, use pawns." "Don't hate the game," Young Miami wrote. She grown. She ain't promise him love. Why he crying? It's Team Pap. Remy, defensive silence. Fat Joe, close with Remy, tweeted, "Pap and Remy always been solid." Don't let the circus fool you, Babellas added. Y'all gotta stop dragging married folks into side piece drama. But the longer Pap and Remy stayed silent, the worse it looked. Remy's comments get ugly. Remy's Instagram became a war zone. Her latest post, glamorous selfie captioned "Unbothered Energy," was hijacked by thousands of comments. Unbothered while Pap out here being Claressa's respect project. Blink twice if you knew. Tony dragging your whole marriage, sis. The silence was deafening. Fans demanded clarity, but Remy refused to address the scandal. Claressa doubles down while Remy stayed quiet. Claressa leaned into the chaos. She posted a cryptic tweet. "A queen don't argue with pawns. Y'all can spin it how you want. I said what I said." Fans screamed. Some saw it as a direct shot at Tony. Others thought it was shade at Remy. Either way, it kept this scandal burning. On IG Live later, Claressa laughed when someone asked about Pap. "Why y'all so obsessed with Pap? He a solid man. Tony shoulda learn from him instead of crying." That single line sparked another round of chaos because she didn't deny anything. She didn't clear Pap. Instead, she kept fueling speculation that there was something between them. Tony's final threat. But the messiest moment came from Tony himself, clearly spiraling. He posted a shaky video to his stories, eyes red. Voice breaking, "Everybody laughing at me. Cool, but y'all don't even know half of it. I got one recording that'll shut all this down. It's one clip of Claressa talking about Pap, and if I drop it, Pap ain't never gonna look the same again." Internet froze. Was Tony bluffing? Or did he really have the kind of recording that could destroy Pap's carefully built image as Hippo's loyal husband? Fans begged him to release it. Others warned him not to. But everyone agreed. If Tony really had proof that Claressa and Pap crossed a line, it would be the most devastating blow yet. Pap's legacy on the line for years. Papoose's name was synonymous with loyalty, honor, and family. But now, he was being dragged into the mud. Not because of anything he said, but because of what Claressa and Tony claimed. One fan tweeted, "Pap spent 20 years building loyalty points, and Claressa cashed them out in one sentence." And the longer Pap stayed silent, the more fans started to believe the worst. By the end of the week, it wasn't just Tony who was humiliated. It wasn't just Claressa who looked ruthless. It was Papoose, the man once untouchable, who now had his entire legacy hanging by a thread. And all eyes were on Tony Rich's promised recording. Because if he really drops it, it won't just humiliate Pap. It could end him. For days, Tony Rich teased that he had one recording that would end. All speculation. Some fans thought he was bluffing. Others begged him not to drop it. But Tony, humiliated and spiraling, was past the point of caring, and then it happened. The recording leaks at 2 a.m. on a random weekday. A 45-second audio clip appeared on Tony's page before being quickly deleted, but not before it was downloaded, reposted, and spread like wildfire in the recording. Claressa's voice could clearly be heard saying, "Tony, you were never serious to me. Pap's the only man I respect. Pap's the type you build with. You were just fun. Don't confuse the two." The internet froze. It wasn't just Tony's word anymore. It was proof. Proof that Claressa not only dismissed Tony, but openly placed Papoose on a pedestal even while Tony was right there. The reaction was volcanic. She said it out loud. No denials now. Tony just ended himself and Pap. "Remy, how are you letting Claressa talk about your husband like that?" Pap's silence shatters for years. Papoose stayed